expect a win. I don't know, by knockout or submission. That's what I'm going to go for, but I expect 5-minute round of war at very high pace.
It is the one we have waited our entire lives for.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Craig Anthony here in the house. The fifth round. Wow. What a day we have planned for you today. Yes, lots of stuff to get going to. We've got the UFC on Fox tomorrow night. Nate Diaz versus Jim Miller. Man, I've got other news. We've got Gabriel Gonzaga is now out in his fight, UFC 146. We'll be covering some of that stuff. Lyoto the Dragon Machida versus Ryan Darth Bader, set for UFC on Fox 4. We're going to be talking about that. Rampage Jackson done with the UFC? We'll be talking about that too. Man, and I got a special guest coming up here shortly. I've got Alexo Bell. And for those who do not know who Alexo Bell is, he is the CEO and founder of the brand new Triad Fight League. So he's going to be joining us shortly. The Triad Fight League has 10 teams set up around the United States right now. I actually spoke to one of their fighters this morning, briefly online. She is a fighter with the New York Knockouts, and she happens to be an Australian. Got a hold of me down south, Mike, down under. That would be Shauna Carew, and she is a fighter with, like I said, with the New York Knockouts, and she's out of Australia, still down under, but it's kind of cool. We're being listened to. We're being streamed around the world, baby. We got listeners everywhere. And I'll be getting a call in here shortly from Nathan Kirby, who happens to be, he was yesterday at the Arkansas Athletic Commission meeting, so I'm looking forward to hearing from him on that. Plus, I want to tell you guys, everybody, tomorrow, Joey Perry's 15th annual Arkansas Classic Open Championships happens to be tomorrow. So make sure you guys get up there. That's going to be at Jonesboro High School, 301 Hurricane Drive in Jonesboro, Arkansas. You've got quite a few things going on. You got weapon and XMA and all types of awesome stuff, Jiu-Jitsu and all types of craziness going on up there. So get on up there. It's an open martial arts tournament sanctioned by the Arkansas Sport Karate Circuit. And you could always go to the website and check out details on that. That is the ASKC website for rules and regulations. And you could always get online. Go onto Facebook and check out Joey Perry's 15th annual Arkansas Classic Open Championships. It is a public event. So check it out. Joey Perry, great guy, has a wonderful gym up there in Jonesboro. And if you get to go to one of his XMA demonstrations, man, it will blow you away. So go check him out. That's this weekend going on. What else do I got going on here? Oh, tomorrow night's fights from East Rutherford, New Jersey, UFC on Fox. And, of course, the Mayweather versus Cotto fight is tomorrow night too. That's going to be on pay-per-view. And don't worry, you're not going to miss it, because the UFC event is actually over before the fights start, the boxing match. So you're not going to miss it. Nate Diaz versus Jim Miller. Well, according to Dana White, if Diaz wins, he gets a title shot. If Miller wins, he'll still be 1 or 2 fights away from the title shot. But that's all good. Nate Diaz is the beast. He recently just received his black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. I am a big Diaz fan. I am looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be finished. I don't think Miller has it in him to beat him. So check that out. We also got some other great fights on the card. Josh Koscheck versus Johnny Hendricks. That'll be a knockout fight right there. It's going to be awesome. Koscheck, as much as a lot of people hate him, the dude's a monster. And he's going to be taking it. Johnny Hendricks is coming off a good knockout win, too. Rousimar Palhares. Of course, as some people call him, Paul Harris. No, it's Palhares versus Arkansas's own Alan Belcher. And I know personally, Alan has been training tough. He's been training with guys like Max Bishop and quite a few other guys from right here in Arkansas. He is originally from here. And the guy's been training hard. It's going to be a great fight. Really looking forward to it. You know, and obviously here being an Arkansas show, we want to back our boy Alan Belcher in that fight tomorrow night. And so good luck to you, Alan. That's going to be a great fight. Pat Barry versus Lamar Johnson. Pat Barry's got a lot to prove. That guy goes in there as a heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight. He's a short heavyweight. And when he goes in against some of these big guys, he's got a lot to prove. He's a little guy. So on that fight, it's going to be kind of hard for me to call. But Pat Barry is a tough guy, and I think he might take it by a knockout. Heavyweights, knockouts come and go, man, and that's just the way it is. Tony Ferguson versus Michael Johnson. Tony Ferguson, I liked him on The Ultimate Fighter. I think he's got a good shot. He's got a lot to fight for. There's quite a few guys on this undercard fight that are Ultimate Fighter alums. Other fighters like that. John Dodson, who actually won The Ultimate Fighter. He's on there. We also got Luis Gaudino, another guy. Dennis Bermudez. Man, so it's going to be a good card. Free on Fox tomorrow night. I want everybody to tune in and check it out. And of course, UFC on Fox tomorrow night, going to rock. No doubt about it. Love the card. Love what Dana White's doing with the UFC, mostly. Now, I did get this passed across to me past couple of days. There's something called AB 2100 Assembly Bill. It's out of California. And there was a hearing on April 25th of the Assembly Committee on Arts, Entertainment, Sports, Tourism, and Internet Media. Well, there's a couple things being proposed out there in California that will, in a way, they protect fighters. But if this stuff passes, Dana White has guaranteed and promised the fact that California will not get another UFC event if things are passed. To break down some of the stuff here, I've got the readings in my hand. It's 12 pages of stuff. Frank Shamrock is in this. It said Mr. Shamrock is a retired mixed martial arts fighter who held championship titles with 4 separate MMA promotions, including the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Strikeforce, World Extreme Cage Fighting, and King of Pancrase. Mr. Shamrock said he disagrees with the UFC over their proposed merchandising agreement that allowed Zuffa LLC to use his name and likeness in perpetuity or forever on UFC merchandise, and therefore refused to sign their contract containing this term. This prevented Shamrock from competing in the UFC despite him being a 4-time defending UFC world champion. So some of this stuff, it goes to protect the fighters. Fighters have rights. We're all fighting, but the UFC is, this is where some people disagree with how the UFC runs in the way they kind of monopolize a lot of the system. When it comes to the UFC and their fighters, they own you, and they own you forever and your likeness. We haven't seen Royce Gracie fight in the UFC in quite a few years now, yet you can still buy the UFC's figurines of Royce Gracie and others. That's what you get. That's what you get when you sign. When you sign a contract with it, that's not normal. If you're in the NFL owns rights to you and your likeness forever. So now down the road, 30 years from now, when the NFL decides to team up with a video game company and put out a video game, and they say, well, we're going to have our Hall of Fame team on the game, and they start naming off guys on there like Joe Montana, who hadn't played in the league for 30, 40 years. They can legally do that. And the UFC is just doing just like everybody else. So I really hope that everybody doesn't blow this out of proportion, like thinking the UFC is just a bunch of demons and that anything of that nature. That's just normal in sports. So watched a really good interview this week with Dana White and Ed O'Neill, the one and only Al Bundy, who happens to be a black belt under the Gracies. He's been there for 21 years training with those guys. If you get that, there's an interview online. It's called. It was actually on a show called The Barfly, and it was a really good perspective about how some of these fighters come up, the ways people fight. There was talks this week about Alistair Overeem and the way everybody's perceiving this. Oh, well, he's bigger, he's this, he's that. Look, the steroid controversies continue. I'm not going to go too deep into the steroid controversies. He's suspended for 9 months. Okay, move on to the next topic. We don't need to continually, the stations, all the writers continually dig up on this because people want to hear about it. But you know what? It's prevalent in sports. And as long as your money is based on your performance in athletics, there's always going to be that element of steroid usage. So it's been going on forever. Well, UltimateApocalypse.com is reporting UFC 146, Gabriel Gonzaga is out. Now it's Dave Herman versus Roy Nelson. Big country. The UFC 146 heavyweight shuffle continues. Gabriel Gonzaga is the latest heavyweight knocked off the main card of the pay-per-view. The Brazilian is out of his fight against Roy Nelson, and stepping in for him will be Dave Herman. The UFC announced the switch just a couple nights ago. UFC 146 Dos Santos versus Mir takes place May 26th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. The main card is the first in UFC history. 5 heavyweight bouts, including a main event heavyweight title fight between Junior Dos Santos and former champ Frank Mir. And for those scoring at home, Herman will be Nelson's third opponent in about 10 days. Nelson, the winner of the season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter, was originally scheduled to meet Antonio Bigfoot Silva on the card, but the shuffling that created when Alistair Overeem was pulled from his title fight with Dos Santos affected just about everyone on the main card. Silva was moved up to face Cain Velasquez when Mir was moved up to face Dos Santos. So Gonzaga was moved in to fill the void, moving up from a fight against Shane Del Rosario, and now an injury has forced him out. You get it now? It's a lot of shuffling, but we still got a really big, tough card. And in all retrospect, when it comes to the main event, I'm really looking forward to Junior Dos Santos versus Frank Mir. I think these guys match up wonderfully. Neither one of these guys are at the higher end of the weight scale now at 265. They're both. Junior Dos Santos comes in about 235. And even Frank Mir has come down, so he's not coming in super heavy at 265 now either. Both have great hands. I think if it goes to the ground, Frank Mir is deadly on the ground. We just saw that the last time he fought against Big Nog and breaking that arm. His jiu-jitsu is second to none. Boxing, both of them got great hands, great stand-up, and I think it's going to be a war. And I'm almost get a guarantee that somebody gets knocked out in that fight. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be coming on back to the other side of the break. We've got Alexo Bell going to be joining us this morning. So stick around right here on KLRG for more fifth round action. Are you ready to learn the greatest, most effective martial art in the world? Do you want to get in shape like you never have before? Are you searching for the champion inside of you? Then look no further than Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Hi, I'm Craig Anthony, host of the Fifth Round here on KLRG, and I want to tell you all about Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Located at 5200 JFK in North Little Rock, Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu is your premier Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. With champion instructors and a winning team, you can achieve all of your fitness and martial arts goals. Danny Cooper and Matt Smith are 2 of the top jiu-jitsu instructors in the state of Arkansas and will train you to be a champion. Nemesis offers jiu-jitsu classes for kids, adults, as well as MMA training at its finest. Is it time that you made a choice to change your life? Give Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu a call today at 501-420-4827. That's 501-420-4827. Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Come train with the best.
Chances are, right now, you want to lose some weight, build more muscle, and get in better shape. Or maybe just want to live a healthier lifestyle. We're here to challenge you, to challenge the way you think about slimming down and shaping up by introducing you to the Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge.
I've been a personal trainer for 18 years, so I've got my entire clientele taking the products. I stand behind them wholeheartedly.
The Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge is today's hottest weight loss and fitness challenge out there. It's a simple program that anybody can do. It's delicious, convenient, and most importantly, it works.
Be able to get back down to your high school weight, I mean, that's every woman's dream.
Lost 12 pounds in the first month.
I've lost 42 pounds. Cindy's lost just about 20 pounds.
I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life.
Are you ready to take the challenge? Contact me, Craig Anthony, at craiganthony.bodybyvi.com. That's craiganthony.bodybyvi.com. Are you ready for the challenge? Kickskin, the premier MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gear company in the world today, is now the official fight gear of me, Craig Anthony, and my show, The Fifth Round. Since 1994, Kickskin has brought to the world the best in Jiu-Jitsu gis, fight short, rash guard, the original #1 rated Valley Tudo glove, men's and women's apparel, and much, much more. Christine Cyborg Santos, Matt Serra, Kendall Grove, and Ben Henderson are all part of the Kickskin family, and you can be too. Call today at 888-KIK-SKIN. That's 888-545-7546. Or go to kickskinmartialarts.com to get the gear that the pros use. Kickskin. Let's get ready to rumble! Be prepared to be tapped out with MMA news right here on KLRG. And we're back. Round number 2. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us right here on The Fifth Round. Craig Anthony in the house. I believe I'll be getting a phone call here shortly, a little later from Nathan Kirby. He's actually out pumping up the world, trying to change lives one day at a time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone right now, I have the privilege, and so do you, to listen to the man who has created something new that we have not experienced in the MMA world yet. Something totally revolutionary. It's called the Triad Fight League. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you get online to the triadfightleague.com and you start studying up on what's going on, if your skin isn't crawling with excitement like mine is, then something is seriously wrong with you. And on the phone right now, the founder, the CEO himself, Alexo Bell. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, my friend? Good to hear from you.
You too, man. Man, I am so pumped up. And for everybody who doesn't know, please inform the world about the Triad Fight League.
Well, first I just want to say, thank you for having me on your show. It's I'm humbled to be on this show. You guys have such an expert way of dealing with the people you interview. It's a privilege to talk to you guys. The Triad Fight League was started I've been working on it for a couple of years now, but we officially launched the website about 2 months ago. We have fighters from around the country. We've pretty much followed the format that the NFL and the NBA use as far as picking cities to represent. Just about every major city is covered from the East Coast to the West Coast. There is a representative for every weight class, male and female, and we also have amateurs and pros. So it's a concept that hasn't totally been done before. Our predecessors, the IFL, they did a good job getting it started, and we've pretty much taken off where they left off. And hopefully we can make a lot of new opportunities for MMA fighters that are not able to get those opportunities.
Well, and we mentioned the IFL, especially when we talk about team MMA type style stuff. Now, the IFL, obviously, it went away. So what is your plan of attack to really make sure that this stays versus what the IFL obviously didn't accomplish? What's the big difference that's going to keep you around?
Well, no demerits to the IFL. I mean, they did a great job. We have some things that are a little different than what they did. For instance, we're using a cage, which is new. We also have females involved, as well as amateurs. We're actually probably, how could I say this, bigger in scope than they were, as far as we're taking in many more athletes. And one of the big differences, I think, is the fact that we're not putting our fighters on salary. They're getting paid for the fights that they actually fight, which is a big load off the whole league. You're not trying to support the whole world with your league. You got those guys that are fighting. Those guys that are fighting are getting paid, and they're getting paid handsomely. We allow each fighter to have his own sponsors, which, it's not easy to make a living as an MMA fighter. And when you start to eliminate the sponsors, you take a big chunk of the money from the fighter.
Well, and that's a big thing too in the IFL. People don't realize that running events like this are not it's an expensive business.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to go into putting on even a local event. Now, what's been put out there is your big event that you're planning. Now, tell us about this big event that you have and how massive this is going to be.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, the response has been overwhelming. As soon as I put the phone down, it's going to start ringing again with people trying to get in. It's called the MMA Super Shield. It's never been done before. It's 3 days, 3 cages, 300 fighters, and it's probably 3 times the organizational nightmare that a regular event would be. But again, it's 3 times the excitement. So if you're ever going to see a match, this is the one you want to see.
That's like world record setting.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a Guinness rep there to document it, and hopefully we can make this something that everybody's going to talk about after it's over.
Now, do you have a date and location, or just dates?
We have set the date. The date is September 21, 2, and 3. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The venue site's being negotiated as we talk. We haven't inked the deal yet. We're trying to decide what's going to be the best venue for all involved. But I can assure you it's going to be a nice event.
Okay. So basically everybody can continually go to triadfightleague.com, and I'm pretty sure you'll continually post up the new information, or I'm pretty sure I might even get a phone call or a text going, hey, I'm going to announce stuff.
Yeah, well, you'll be one of the first people to know as soon as the venue site is to be announced. We'll get a hold of you, and you can put it out there for us.
That is such an honor, sir, and I greatly appreciate it. Looking at the lineup of fighters you have so far, and this is just a small portion of what's on the website so far, you've got some names. This isn't just a little, amateur this, amateur. You've got some serious names on this list of who you've got fighting so far.
Well, we're trying to give everybody a chance to be in. You know, we've got amateurs, we've got pros, we've got women, and we've got men. Some big names, some people you've never heard of. But I'm convinced some of the toughest people on the planet are the ones you never heard about.
That's correct.
We're going all over trying to find exciting fighters, and I think we're doing a pretty good job so far.
So all you listeners out there, if you are a fighter and you are interested in fighting, well, Alexo Bell happens to be the man you might want to be talking to, especially if you want to get involved with the Triad Fight League. Now, we don't have a team yet here in Little Rock, but I'm sure we could do some talking and see what might happen.
Well, Craig, I'm getting quite a few messages regarding they're wanting to see you at the Super Shield.
Oh,
so
really?
That may be something you want to consider.
Got a 205 spot open, maybe. I don't know. well,
think about it. And let us know.
Yeah, I will definitely. It's a great opportunity to be able to go out and fight. And I don't mind training for it. I mean, that's September. That's plenty of time to put my camp together and talk to my coaches and get my diet right. And but yeah, I mean that'd be a fantastic. And no matter what, if I fight at it, or if I'm just there, no matter what, I do want. There's no way I don't want to participate somehow and get the 5th round involved somehow with the Triad Fight League and be there, cover the fights live. I would. That'd be a fantastic opportunity.
Well, we have a seat for you, however you decide to work it out.
Oh man, and I greatly appreciate it.
Whether it be in the dressing rooms or ringside.
Man, hey. If blood gets spilt on me, I'm happy. I'm cool, man. I'll sit ringside. I'll even call fights if you need them, man. It's all good with me.
That goes for that co-host of yours too. That Christian brother of mine. You tell him he's got tickets waiting at the door for him.
Man, that's fantastic. We greatly appreciate it. Do you happen to know even possibly what city this event might be taking place in?
That's the $1 million question, Craig. If I tell you now that I'm locked in, I don't want to do that quite yet. But probably within next week you'll have the information.
Man, that is awesome. Well, real quick too, some people are going to go, okay, well, you put this whole thing together. Give us a brief background about yourself, what your background in martial arts and mixed martial arts happens to be.
Well, I've been in martial arts my whole life. My father was my instructor, William Bell, and he studied in the Air Force. He was stationed in Okinawa. So I started doing martial arts when he came back to the States. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember ever not doing it. I've been doing it my whole life. I boxed for years, fought professionally for a couple of years. And, my love is to see other people, obtain their dreams and to help them get there. So the teaching has always been my first love.
Man, that's just awesome. And I commend you on not only stepping forward to put together an event, because I've been involved in quite a few of the local events, and I know, especially being really close friends and fighting in some of these local events, but with Nathan Kirby, the man hours that you put in daily, weekly, to just putting in a local event for something of this magnitude, man, my hat's off to you, bro, because this is going to be huge. And I really hope that it just excels the sport of MMA that much further. I had the pleasure of speaking this morning briefly to one of the fighters. That would be Shauna Carew from the New York Knockouts, who's actually down in Australia. I love to look at the MMA world as such a tight-knit, small community. And it's for the fans that happen to be massive. The work that goes into it is a labor of love, and I greatly I want to show you my appreciation, sir, and say thank you for putting on such a massive event that's never been done before. And I can only imagine the man hours that are going to be put in between now, well, not only what you've already done, but from now until September. I highly doubt you'll be sleeping much in the next couple of months, but hope it's going to pay off.
It's a labor of love. I really enjoy it.
That's fantastic. Well, sir, I greatly appreciate your time this morning. We'd look forward to talking to you over the next couple of weeks and couple of months and keeping you involved with the fifth round, as well as, and I look forward to the event. I'll be there with bells on, sir. And if I get to fight...
Let me give a shout-out real quick, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
Some people who are making this possible, that being a couple of my sponsors. I'd like to thank 7AD. That's a fantastic jewelry company. Fighters Against Child Abuse. That's an organization I think all MMA guys should get behind.
Amen to that.
Nonstop MMA. That's Mario Belmonte. He's a talent scout for Triad Fight League. He's helping us put this whole card together. Pain Theory Clothing, who they have a really unique thing going where they're sponsoring fighters. And everybody that's looking for sponsors, get a hold of Pain Theory. You can find them online. And last but not least, Concede. They've helped us immensely as well.
Man,
I'd like to thank you guys, too. Thank you for having me on, man. It's been my pleasure to talk with you guys.
Oh, man, you know what? It was our pleasure to have you on, and I'll make sure next time Nathan happens to be in his seat, and we'll get him on with you. But, yeah, everybody, when the events happen like this, you have to jump on the opportunity to go. When it is announced, whatever city it's in, hey, even if it was, I'll just ballpark it. Say it was in Dallas, you're here in Arkansas, make the drive. It's not bad, because events like this can only happen because of the fans. Fans. You have to come out. You have to show support, show the love. Get on Triad Fight League. Go on Facebook. You can find Alexo Bell on Facebook. You can also find the Triad Fight League on Facebook. Follow him, like him. You know what? There's a lot of these fighters out there. Fighters are people too. They're not like regular celebrity. I can't talk to people. I don't talk. No, fighters love people. They do. I've never met a fighter that wasn't willing to sign an autograph or say hi to a fan, even on Facebook. So follow these fighters. Follow the Triad Fight League. And it comes September 21st. I think we're going to see something that we've never seen. It's going to be amazing. Alexo Bell, sir, I greatly appreciate you this morning. I thank you. God bless you, and I'll be looking forward to speaking to you soon.
Hey, God bless you too, bro.
All right, sir. Have a great day. Wow. I'm blown away. Having a great day. Can I end it now? I know I've only been on a half hour. I can keep jaw-jacking. It's all good. The phone line is open, 501-492-5576. That's 501-492-5576. If you want to call on in, I'm going to continue on with other good stuff. Ross Pearson arrested in Las Vegas. Yes, according to TMZ.com, UFC featherweight Ross Pearson was arrested in Las Vegas, Nevada early Sunday morning on suspicion of DUI. The celebrity gossip website reports Pearson was pulled over around 4 a.m. after the LVPD noticed his car swerving on the road. The 27-year-old was asked to conduct a field sobriety test, which he allegedly failed. The Brit was immediately taken into custody. The Ultimate Fighter 9 winner has since been released. Pearson has made several posts on his Twitter account since the incident, but has not alluded to what went down over the weekend. He's currently in Vegas serving as an assistant coach for Dominic Cruz on The Ultimate Fighter Live. He was last seen taking a unanimous decision victory over Junior Asunciao at UFC 141. The December contest marked the Real Deal's 145-pound debut after moving from the lightweight class. Pearson is scheduled to battle Cub Swanson June 22nd at UFC on FX, Maynard versus Guida. And I actually read this morning as well that he has not been pulled from that card no matter what. He's still going to fight. Lyoto, the Dragon Machida. Lots of Machida fans out there. I know there is, and he has been a bad dude over the years. But he shall be facing Ryan Darth Bader, set for UFC on Fox 4. A former champion and Ultimate Fighter winner have agreed to a big light heavyweight bout this summer. Lyoto Machida and Ryan Bader will meet when the UFC holds its fourth nationally televised card on the Fox network. The UFC announced the fight late Monday. Machida and Bader will square off at UFC on Fox 4, which takes place August 4th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Machida, who's 17-3, he's 8-3 in the UFC, will be looking for just his second win in 5 fights. The former champion has dropped 3 of his last 4, 2 of them coming in the 205-pound title fights. The Dragon started his career 16-0 and his UFC career 8-0, including a light heavyweight win over Rashad Evans at UFC 98. He defended the belt once with a controversial unanimous decision over Mauricio Shogun Hua at UFC 104, but he lost the belt with a first-round knockout, the first defeat of his career at UFC 113. And the last fight he had was against John Bones Jones, which he lost that too. Of course, because I'm an old Arizona boy and I know that Ryan Bader's fighting, I'm going to call that my boy Bader is going to come out there and destroy Lyoto. And I just hope Ryan don't take one of them little swift jump kicks to the face. But Darth, my boy Bader, Power MMA and Fitness, Gilbert, Arizona. I really hope that dude comes out. He's coming off a big win. So let's keep it going. MixedMartialArts.com is reporting Nate Diaz will earn his heavyweight title shot with his win over UFC on Fox. Much has been made about the winner of Saturday's UFC on Fox 3 main event between Nate Diaz and Jim Miller getting a shot at the UFC light heavyweight championships, but that's only partially correct. To quote Dana White, if Diaz wins, he gets a title shot. If Miller wins, he is probably still a fight or 2 away. Okay. Rampage Jackson. Mr. Rampage Jackson. Here we go. Rampage is mad. It just is what it is. Rampage ain't happy. Well, Rampage keeps getting what he wants. Dana gives him what he wants, and he's still not happy. Rampage is done with the UFC. Dana White says the same. Quentin Rampage Jackson has never been a fighter that holds his tongue. If he's got something to say, he says it. That's never been more evident than over the past several months. Rampage has taken shots at his former employer, the UFC, at nearly every turn. Not former, the current employer. Interviews, Twitter, you name it. Rampage is slinging arrows. His latest salvo came on a recent appearance of HD Net's Inside MMA, a common stop for Rampage. After I leave the UFC, I'm done with them, just like when I left Pride, is what he told host Kenny Rice and Boss Rutan. That's fine by UFC President Dana White, who sounds as if he's about done dealing with Rampage's tirades. I'll have a conversation with Rampage and think we're cool, and then I'll read other stuff. Rampage is obviously not happy with the UFC, White said following Thursday's UFC on Fox 3 pre-fight press conference at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. No deal, brother. No big deal, brother. You won't want to be here anymore. Okay. Rampage has one more fight left on his UFC contract. Despite his vitriol, he hasn't indicated that he would not honor that contract. For his part, White has said that once Rampage's contract was fulfilled, they would honor his wishes to part ways with the promotion. With the strain on the relationship reaching an apparent breaking point, who knows if that fight will ever come to fruition. Rampage was going to face Mauricio Shogun Hua in a rematch of their Pride fight from several years ago as a final bout on his contract, but put it on hold, citing the need for a double knee surgery. Look, I'm done with Rampage. Rampage is washed up. Rampage has never fit to impress me as a monster in the UFC, and he has been outclassed and outbeat. His time is done. He was a monster in Pride. Yes, he was a draw over in Japan, but we saw in his last fight, Ryan Bader walked over him like a wet dog. So it's over. It's over. MMAJunkie.com reporting the Legacy Fighting Championship UFC workout deal following Jamie Varner's withdrawal. Mick Maynard will never fault on a fighter who will take an opportunity to fight in the UFC, but the Legacy Fighting Championships promoter, Legacy Fighting Championships based out of Texas, sure would appreciate some notice if the fighter is already booked for one of his events. The situation arose this week when former WEC champion Jamie Varner, who was slated to fight at next week's LFC 11 event on HDNet, instead took an injury replacement opportunity at this month's UFC 146 event. Maynard recently told MMAJunkie.com radio that he'll learn about Jamie Varner's withdrawal after he logged into MMAJunkie.com. So how does that feel to you? You got a fighter who's supposed to be fighting for you over the next week, and then you read online that he's not fighting for you and you didn't even get notice. I'd be kind of mad. Well, where he passed on the news that Varner has replaced an injured fighter and now meets Edson Barbosa at the May 26th event. That's going to be a good fight. Edson Barbosa, that dude is undefeated, and he is a monster. And I'm looking forward. I think it's going to be a good fight between him and Jamie Varner. I think Edson Barbosa is going to take it, though. USA Today is reporting UFC on Fox 4. The fight with Stan could accelerate UFC title shot for Lombard. Well, Hector Lombard might put himself on the fast track to a title bout in the UFC by winning his debut this summer. Recently signed to MMA's largest promotion after steamrolling opponents in Bellator Fighting Championships for 2 years, Lombard, who has 31 wins, 2 losses, and 1 no contest in MMA, he's 0-0 in UFC, could find himself challenging for a title belt if he beats Brian Stan, who's 12-4 in MMA. He's 6-3 in the UFC. This is according to Dana White. That would give Lombard one of the fastest paths to a UFC title for any athlete since Brock Lesnar in 2008. Middleweight champion Anderson Silva has a second fight scheduled with Chael Sonnen in July. Should Silva win again, a championship bout for Lombard would be a logistical choice, according to Dana. When you talk about cleaning out a division, there's always another guy who comes up, even for a guy like Anderson, White said Thursday while speaking to a group of several reporters. We just brought in Lombard. If Lombard beats Stan, that title fight makes sense. UFC plans to hold Lombard versus Stan in August as the UFC on Fox 4 headliner. I disagree with it. I completely disagree with it. Champions and other events, even Bellator, if he was a champ in Strikeforce, I would say yes. Bellator, I don't think, is to the level of even Strikeforce. This guy's getting popular, but you know what? The average person, until I just read his name off, does not know who Hector Lombard is. So why is that a draw for a pay-per-view? For me, Anderson Silva's the draw, and they're going to say, Anderson Silva, who's going to fight him? I don't see that as a smart match. If I was Dana White and I was matchmaking, Anderson Silva, if he beats Chael Sonnen again, I think something's got to happen where you put him in some type of a super fight. Do something to where you put him against a John Bones Jones, maybe make the draw and have him fight against George St. Pierre. Do something for the fans, because we see it all the time. Anderson comes in, he beats his guys, and it's done. And we don't always get to see him challenged. Now he's going to fight Chael Sonnen again. Chael Sonnen, to me, is the only guy that's seriously challenged him before and almost won that last fight. So, henceforth, Lombard, Stan's a tough dude. He's a Marine. And he's had some ups and downs in his career so far in the UFC. He's coming off a win. Brian Stan's a monster, and I really hope Stan wins to kind of show that just because you're a Bellator champ doesn't mean you are top tier guy in the UFC. Because there's been guys been on the Ultimate Fighter that have been champs in other divisions and other organizations, but they get in the UFC and it's just not that way. Even champs that have come from Strikeforce and Pride, they might win and they could do well in the UFC. Some have even come on in the UFC and won titles. I think that Brock Lesnar got that shot because Brock Lesnar had a name. He had a massive name coming from the WWE. He comes into the UFC. At the time, the UFC heavyweight division was not as deep as it is right now. Right now, you have a lot of really good heavyweights. One heavyweight I'd like to see come over, Josh Barnett. I'd love to see Josh Barnett back in the UFC. But now the whole thing with back to my point with Brock Lesnar and this, he was a name. That's how come he ended up getting a shot right off the bat. He came into the UFC, he steamrolled guys. Nobody knew how to fight him. Here's this walked around a 285-pound guy, drops to 265, and he was a massive name. Millions and millions and millions of fans. Everybody knew him. Nobody knows who Hector Lombard is unless you're a diehard MMA guy who follows Bellator all the time. The average weekender that watches the UFC and Strikeforce events, I don't know, that's going to be a major draw. Not as big as if you could do a mega fight for Anderson Silva. The only way I think if you're going to get that pay-per-view to be a monster is if you give Anderson Silva Lombard, is you're going to have to have a second title fight on the line or a really, really, really good stacked card. I would really hope that card doesn't involve that title fight, and then the rest of the card looks like it should just be an FX event or something that's just kind of mediocre. Not something that's going to be put on a small town, but it's going to have to be a big major venue. So, well, I still got about 20 minutes or so of the show. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be right back at you with more fifth round action right here on KLRG. Are you ready to learn the greatest, most effective martial art in the world? Do you want to get in shape like you never have before? Are you searching for the champion inside of you? Then look no further than Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Hi, I'm Craig Anthony, host of the Fifth Round here on KLRG, and I want to tell you all about Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Located at 5200 JFK in North Little Rock, Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu is your premier Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. With champion instructors and a winning team, you can achieve all of your fitness and martial arts goals. Danny Cooper and Matt Smith are two of the top jiu-jitsu instructors in the state of Arkansas and will train you to be a champion. Nemesis offers jiu-jitsu classes for kids, adults, as well as MMA training at its finest. Is it time that you made a choice to change your life? Give Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu a call today at 501-420-4827. That's 501-420-4827. Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Come train with the best.
Chances are, right now, you want to lose some weight, build more muscle, and get in better shape. Or maybe just want to live a healthier lifestyle. We're here to challenge you, to challenge the way you think about slimming down and shaping up by introducing you to the Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge.
I've been a personal trainer for 18 years, so I've got my entire clientele taking the products. I stand behind them wholeheartedly.
The Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge is today's hottest weight loss and fitness challenge out there. It's a simple program that anybody can do. It's delicious, convenient, and most importantly, it works.
Be able to get back down to your high school weight. I mean, that's every woman's dream.
Lost 12 pounds in the first month.
I've lost 42 pounds. Cindy's lost just about 20 pounds.
I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life.
Are you ready to take the challenge? Contact me, Craig Anthony, at craiganthony.bodybyvi.com. That's craiganthony.bodybyvi.com. Are you ready for the challenge? Kickskin, the premier MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gear company in the world today, is now the official fight gear of me, Craig Anthony, and my show, The Fifth Round. Since 1994, Kickskin has brought to the world the best in Jiu-Jitsu gis, fight short, rash guard, the original #1 rated Valley Tudo glove, men's and women's apparel, and much, much more. Christine Cyborg Santos, Matt Serra, Kendall Grove, and Ben Henderson are all part of the Kickskin family, and you can be too. Call today at 888-KIK-SKIN. That's 888-545-7546. Or go to kickskinmartialarts.com to get the gear that the pros use. Kickskin. KLRG, the Fifth Round. What's going on? Craig Anthony in the house. Man, what a show we've had already. Alexo Bell from the Triad Fight League. TriadFightLeague.com. Make sure you check it out online. So I'm going to give a quick shout out right now. I'm going to run these names down to my back of my brain housing group here. I'm going to give a big shout out to all those gyms out there that help make the Fifth Round happen, that help the MMA world here in Arkansas happen. Some of the fighters, there's so many fighters, man. Wow, and people I could train with. I want to start off by thanking, of course, the guys I train with at Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. I want to thank the guys at Westside MMA. You guys rock. The guys at Rolly Delgado, Matt Hamilton. Man, you guys, great programs over there. We got the ATA. The ATA has produced many fighters over the years. Nathan Kirby, I want to tell you guys to go to Kingdom Promotions. Let me make sure I got that right. It's Kingdom Promotions. I thought it was just kingdompromotions.com. Nope, kingdompromotionsmma.com. So go to kingdompromotionsmma.com and check out Nathan Kirby's upcoming events, the next big fights here in Arkansas, tickets and events. I mean, all types of crazy stuff. MMA schools. You can check out the whole list. And there's going to be a big, massive list of stuff coming up as the website is growing. It is still under construction, but there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Joey Perry's school up north in Jonesboro. Inferno MMA. Yes. And all the fight teams that are out there in Hot Springs. And you know what? I'm going to give a big shout out to even some of those, all these great martial arts gyms that don't even do any of this mixed martial arts stuff, but just stick to their guns and do what they do. They do what they do well. Five Tigers in Jacksonville, the Olympic style Taekwondo in Jacksonville. I think you got a couple locations. There are a lot of fighters in this town. There are a lot of gyms. I could probably pull up a massive list of gyms in this town. Barada MMA in Cabot that work close to those guys. The McLaughlin's up there, man. Just great programs. And we've got events, tons of events, tons and tons and tons of events. Here, I'm going to pull up another event that's going to be going on here. That's going to be coming up. The Pounds for Pit Bulls Strongman and No Gi Tournament. Now, for you grapplers out there, this is going to be off the chain. Even if you're not a grappler and you want to do something for a fantastic cause, this is going to be a strongman and no gi tournament to raise funds for a national organization called Bad Rap. Okay, you can go to www.badrap.org, which brings awareness to breed-specific legislation. They also help to fight to change the local laws, and Northwest Arkansas Pitbull Arkansas Pitbull Ambassadors, that you can go to facebook.com/pitbull/ambassador NWA, a local rescue organization which rescues, fosters, and adopts out pit bulls that are in trouble. Strongman events and weight classes weigh-ins are to be determined. All proceeds will donate these to nonprofit organizations. It's very inexpensive. If you want to be in the strongman competition, it's only $40. The no-gi tournament, $30. $30, and you can go jump in that. If you want to do both, hey, $60. I'm not a strongman, so I can't do both of them, but I will go compete. They're going to have women's, kids, men's divisions. They're going to have all types of great events there, and that is going to be taking place on Saturday, September 22nd, 2012. And let me get you an exact location. That's going to be at the Benton County Fairgrounds at 7640 Southwest Regional Airport Boulevard in Bentonville, Arkansas. Okay? That's 7640 Southwest Regional Airport Boulevard, Bentonville, Arkansas. And like I said, that's going to be in September. And that's September 22nd. Wow, that's the same weekend as the fights. Oh. Okay, well, if you're not going to the Triad Fight League, you have to go to this tournament. You have to come out and support. It is a public thing. Get online. Go to Facebook. Pounds for Pit Bull Strongman and No Gi Tournament. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. Going for a great cause. I'm a big dog lover, so I get sympathetic when I hear about it. But go on there. Of course, you can check out the Fifth Round online at Facebook. The Fifth Round. I'm on there. Nathan Kirby's on there. Alexo Bell, the Triad Fight League. Hey, you can find lots of these great fighters and stuff on there. Caleb Plank from Inferno. Kind of love that guy. The crazy Amishman. Well, I also want to tell everybody about Visalis. That's right. Tomorrow night, right here at the KLRG Studios, 6400 Scott Hamilton Drive in Little Rock, I will be hosting a Visalis challenge party. I want you to show up, try some shakes, have a great time with not only myself, but some of the other show hosts from KLRG will be in the house, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to talk about Visalis. We're going to be changing lives, showing people how to lose weight, feel great, and have a great time. We'll probably be having some great callers, some ambassadors from the Visalis, and man, if I want you to change your life. Here you go. Craig is now on his soapbox, officially. I am on my soapbox. We live here in Arkansas, happens to be, sadly, the 9th heaviest state in the United States. Nathan Kirby and I, along with thousands of others in the Visalis world, are here to help change that. Dropping weight has never been so easy. I've got a really good friend of mine named David Buddha Bernal, who has dropped, I think 35 pounds in just over 30 days. The average person's losing 35 pounds in 90 days. You don't get that normally. And this is a product, I take a phenomenal shake in the morning. It tastes awesome. You drink 8 ounces, bam, you're good to go till lunch. And what's inside of it will help your body digest foods better, process better. You will have the proteins in your body that your muscles need. Chromium, selenium, magnesium, all the great stuff in the body that you don't normally get from your meals like you're supposed to. But that one little switch, that one little meal in the morning that costs you less than what you're going to spend at breakfast anyways, will change your life. I met a man last Saturday. I was in Walnut Ridge. This man happens to be down 200 pounds and is at 500 and is working his way down. And I believe now he is joining the Visalis world, taking the Visalis 90-day challenge. God bless him. 500 pounds. He was up to 704. That was not a misprint. That was not me messing up. 704 pounds. But you know what? More and more as time goes on, that becomes typical. People get extremely large. And he wasn't some guy who had medical problems. He had his hurt knees and he got depressed, so he ate. Well, lots of people, including myself, I turn to food sometimes when I'm not feeling well. We get down and depressed. It's a part of society. People turn to food. And they get away from training and just being healthy. And it's time that we take control of our lives. But it's also time for us to step up and get responsible for our brothers and sisters. Be accountable. Try to be accountable for one another. If you have somebody who's struggling, be the person that they can help lean on when it comes to their time of need. going from massive amounts of weight, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, to make that first step through the door, that's huge. It's David and Goliath. It is massive. But you know what? David conquered Goliath. And so can you. You can get your life back. You can take that step forward. You can go outside your house today and take your dog for a walk around the block, and it will be the first step to a new you. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want to change something small in your diet to help you there, go to my website, craiganthony.bodybyvi.com. That's Vi as in Visalis, V-I. So craiganthony.bodybyvi.com. There's videos, but I want you to go on there and hit that little button that says take the challenge. You join the challenge. I challenge you to lose weight, feel better. For every pound that you lose, you will take 3 pounds of pressure off your knees and your lower back. So for all of you out there that always complain about that, when you're overweight and you're saying, hey, my knees hurt all the time. Well, think about that. 3 pounds of pressure off your knees for every pound of weight that you lose. If you want to be around for your kids and your grandkids, and you want to see your grandkids graduate high school and go into college, and you want to do so because you are overweight, this is the first step. This is something phenomenal. It tastes great. And you don't have to sit there and completely change your diet. You should. You should decide to eat a salad or fish or some turkey versus the burger versus the grease, the fried foods, the barbecue. Look, I love food. I love food. I love barbecue. I'm not a big fried food guy, but pizza, pasta, ooh, you give me some good grub. There's so many great restaurants here in Little Rock and all of Arkansas that, man, I could sit around and just get huge. Make simple decisions in your life. Read up on some of these ways. You can hit us up in the 5th round. If you got issues on how to get started or where you can go to start training and change your life, hit us up on Facebook. Go to the 5th round. Find me. Find Craig Anthony. Hey, I'll help you out. I'll shoot you emails. I'll text you. I'll let you know what's up. Go to myfitnesspal.com. That's a great place to start. MyFitnessPal, you could detail everything you need. You could figure out how many calories you should be putting in your body to help you drop weight. Figure out your workout routines. There's so much great stuff going on. Get healthy. Arkansas is a beautiful place to live. And I've lived all over the United States. And so for everybody streaming me, I'm pretty sure no matter where you live, there is phenomenal places to go hiking, camping, boating, outside. Get out. Unplug. Turn off the TV. Take 90 days of doing nothing in front of a television. Turn it off. I know Nathan Kirby was doing a 90-day no television challenge. He's probably halfway done with it. But you know what? I guarantee that he got a lot done. I don't watch regular television. I don't have cable. People are thinking, how does someone live without cable? It's a waste of money. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. You could spend the hours, and it's an old excuse. I don't have time. I don't have time to go to the gym, Craig. I don't have time. I'm too busy. Really? How many hours of television did you watch last night? I don't care if it was at 10 o'clock at night. I know people that wake up literally at 3 a.m. so they can get their workouts in before the rest of their family's day starts. No excuses. None. Zero. I'm Craig Anthony. For Nathan Kirby and all of us here at KLRG, take care of yourself. We'll see you next week right here at the 5th round. Stick around. We got more great stuff. Wow. We got more great stuff coming at you shortly. See ya next week.
expect a win. I don't know, by knockout or submission. That's what I'm gonna go for. But I expect 5 minute round of war at very high pace.
It is the